Good afternoon and welcome back to live streaming coverage of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. My name is Jerry Gertz of curlingzone.com, joined by Julia Weigel on the broadcast here.
Hey, Jerry. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board here. We're just still sort of getting set up. There's a bit of excitement around the club right now. We're working on a few details. We'll have a statement about the men's event coming out shortly. Nothing to panic about. We're taking some moves in the abundance of caution. We'll update you shortly. But getting into the game here, Jennifer Jones taking on Hollie Duncan. Trying to sort out who has hammer here yet. I hope you've been watching, Julia.
I think Jennifer has hammer.
So, of course, your sister, Lisa, is now a member of this Jones team. So certainly some big changes coming up this season.
Yeah, big changes for sure. I know she's really excited to be out there this weekend playing with the girls and getting comfortable on the new team. They've been looking pretty good so far this week, obviously.
Yeah, it's like they come out onto the ice in mid-season form. Jennifer and Brent winning the mixed doubles event last weekend, and both of them just look like they were, up to their old selves out there on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. And Lisa and John ended up in the semifinals. So I talked to her a little bit, and she said, it was a really great experience, and they were really impressed with the precautions at the club and the things that have been put in place to help them out. So she said it's been a little bit of a different year for sure, but it's been good so far. Good experience.
So that will be here. First end, 3 for Jennifer Jones. They will take the early lead here in the women's final at the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life.
More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
You need to sweep for weight?
You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells team's brand new listing. And I am so pumped to bring 13th Street to market. This is a super cool house. We are in New Toronto. The lake is right there. The bike path is right there. Do you know what? I've always said in real estate, this area of Lakeshore, New Toronto is gonna be the next beaches of Toronto. You can see the development. And voila, we have this great raised bungalow. The ceilings in the basement are 8 feet tall, and you have a 1-bedroom apartment in the basement for extra income. And you know what? My client has done all the hard work. She's taken out the walls. She's put in the structural support beam. So everything's there to put a second story on, or you know what? Just come to this beautiful country-like setting backyard and just chill. The home has a lot of upgrades. Like I said, it has the beam. It's an open concept, and you know what? The crazy thing about this bungalow is it actually has a front hall closet, which most bungalows don't. So look, go to stusells.ca. You can see all the pictures and videos of this amazing backyard. You can take a tour of the area and call me Stu and come have a showing.
We're back here, second end. Jones throws first stone into the rings. Corner guard goes up, and then another stone in. 3-0 Jones here over Hollie Duncan after the first end. Joined by Julia Weigel, competitor on the Ontario curling circuit. Great to have you on board. Maybe provide a little bit of insights into this, into your sister and joining the team and coming on board as well.
Yeah, I don't know how much insight I really have that isn't already published anywhere, but no, I know she's been really excited to be provided with this new opportunity to play with Team Jones, and I think she's feeling pretty good this weekend. I don't talk to her too much while she's in competitions. I don't like to bug her, but I know she's feeling pretty good.
So now for the Duncan team, they're looking to try and figure out how to get a 2-point score back on the ice here. You don't want to try too hard and get yourself into trouble, especially against a team as aggressive as Jennifer can be.
Yeah, definitely giving up a 3 right off the hop is probably not in Hollie's plan, but looking like she's trying to set something up here.
Team Duncan, Hollie out of the Toronto area. Well, the rest of the team, they all play out of Woodstock. This is 3 of the 4 are runners-up from 2 years ago. Team Tippin playing Team Holman in the final of the Ontario Scotties. And then, of course, last season, Hollie Duncan reached the final, falling to Rachel in that final.
Yeah,
So now they've
both-
joined
couple of great
forces into
teams
a
here.
single team going forward. Sorry, Julia.
No, that's okay. Hollie's been around forever, and her team too. There's a lot of great experience on that team.
Hollie, of course, was the 2018 Ontario Scotties champion. Is that right? Penticton.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I was expecting you to do all the research, Julia.
I didn't have a lot of heads up that I was going to be helping you out here today. So.
Well, maybe that takes some of the nerves out of the game, for sure. Oh, yeah, just relax. You're just having a curling conversation with me. You know, just like a good old ball game, it's great to sit down and have a great conversation about curling while we watch some the top teams play the game here.
Yeah, our poor Blue Jays going 0-2.
Yeah, but I consider that a win. You know, getting into the playoffs a year early. This team's going to be a lot of fun.
That's true.
So back in here into the game. Duncan looking to go around the corner guard. Comes up short. And again, just for the fans at home, we don't have any extra camera angles here. We are calling the game off the screen here, live with you along at the same time. So we'll do our best to make sure we have the rock count right and all those types of things as well. Feel free to let us know on the chat. Let us know where you're watching from as we get into this Women's Championship final. This will be the final game from the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. We'll have an update shortly on the men's event. No concern at this point. We are postponing the men's event in abundance of caution due to a COVID alert app indication that somebody had come in contact with a positive case. The COVID alert app was required by all players to download prior to playing in this event. It was a step that we took to go above and beyond the local health regulations in order to play this event. So it's important that we try and use this app, and this is why we added it, because we wanted to ensure we tried to catch any cases before they actually became a positive case. So that's what's happening here. The four men's playoff games, the remaining three have all been postponed. The women have played their own separate event here at the KW Granite Club, so we are completing the women's final here as scheduled. So there's the update, Julia.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that what's happening on the men's, but definitely good to take that precaution. And I know the players will be eager to stay healthy and get back to curling as soon as possible. So everyone's doing everything they can to make sure that we can actually play our sport safely. And shout out to Stu as well for providing us with some great coverage here. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's a case where if this was something that happened within a school, for example, you would see this contact the player who had this positive COVID alert app notification. This player would then isolate and get tested to clear themselves. Contacts of that contact are not required to isolate. So a student that had been isolated from school where there was a positive case, parents of that student at this point are not required to self-isolate. So it's just the risk factors that they read into, and they say how it all lays out and everything as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just in case, we want to make sure that this is a nice to have type of thing within society. So we're going to take extra precautions to ensure that we don't cause an issue here and minimize the spread if something does happen at the same time too. So Duncan, her first stone here in the second end.
Yeah, Hollie can make a good freeze here and put a little bit of pressure on.
Get the right angle here, and looks like red is currently lying 2.
Yeah, looks like she had a nice one there. Good judge on the weight there by the sweepers.
This is a really well-played end by the Duncan team. Coming out of giving up 3 in the first end, sometimes you just blow your brains out trying too hard to get all 3 back. They played a good end with corner guards up, and now all of a sudden, Hollie has a chance for an actual 3.
Yeah, great execution by Team Duncan here in the second. Wow, great sweeping there by Jocelyn.
So now for Duncan, this rock looks like it is about, what, half buried? The good news is there is a bit of a catcher on the outside there that this stone looks like it could come to rest against. Yeah, that's a very small half. Hollie Duncan, last stone here. Second end, needs to get by. Just clicks off the front.
Disaster.
That will be a steal of a single point for Jennifer Jones, now up 4-0. So close from perfect, Julia.
Great effort there.
Really hard on the sweep all the way down the sheet. That would have been 3 to tie the game. Instead of Jones gets a point. They will now lead 4-0 here after the second end.
Hi.
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 I'm Sean Chang.
My name is Chris.
Hi, I'm Phil Hanna.
And I'm an RBC mortgage specialist.
I can meet you where you work, where you live, or halfway across town. Unia Mortgage Specialist.
You can find us anywhere, from here
to here,
and even way over here.
But what is a
mortgage specialist?
And what does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
Well, to start, we understand our communities.
Whether you live in Little Portugal
or run and operate a store in Bloor West Village,
we want to understand you. We take the time to get to know each and every one of our clients.
Because we all have unique circumstances.
And we would love to get to know yours.
So, let's meet at your closest branch.
Or maybe over a cup of coffee.
So we can understand what matters to you.
We're here to support you.
And we never,
ever
leave our clients behind.
Whether you're buying your first home
or your fifth,
or even when you're looking to build your dream home.
We bring our deep understanding of the real estate landscape and our communities
together under the one team of RBC.
Para melhor atender você.
Because our goal is to help you achieve yours.
Our goal is to help you achieve yours.
And we'll work tirelessly to make your dream home a reality.
To make your dream home a reality.
Your goals and dreams deserve an expert. Come and see an RBC mortgage specialist today, where we won't leave a client behind.
We're back here, third end. So close for Team Duncan there.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad as the second sweeper who can't help out. There's nothing worse than walking beside a rock and not being able to do anything about it.
Tess Bobby with lead stones for Team Duncan. Caitlin Law is on the brush here. Second sweeper, giving the sweeper distance. The second sweeper is only there to judge and time the rock, add support for that second sweeper.
Got a question here from Karen asking if I played with my sister when we were young and how long have I curled for. So Lisa and I both started curling around the age of 7. She's 3 years older than me. So we both started at the Granite Curling Club in West Ottawa. And we did play together a little bit when we were back in Little Rocks, but never really competitively as women's players. She's been a lot more active with it. I kind of was in school for a long time and played university curling, and then took some time away from the game. So I was going to be back playing competitively again this year with Team Hagestad, but we decided not to play in this event just for some personal reasons. Some of us have a couple of high-risk situations going on, so we wanted to kind of wait and see what the situation would be in the fall with the COVID. Yeah, I think that answers your question. We don't really play together as adults, but we did a bit as kids.
So it's certainly been pretty amazing to watch Lisa's career take off. Her joining Team Homan, what was first year was that?
Ooh.
It's been that long, hasn't it?
It's been a long time. I think it's been about a decade, I think, I want to say.
Yeah, certainly an institution there, and a challenging situation with any breakup for sure. Lisa ended up becoming a free agent this year and was snapped up by Team Jones before anybody had a chance to try and woo Lisa.
Yeah, it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster of a week there.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's certainly difficult, that departure from Team Homan. You know, I understand the decision that they made, but obviously being the player out is never fun. Though now, exciting opportunity here. I know Team Jones is working on a plan, or has a plan in place, to roll as a 5-player squad. They are going to include all of them as regular players, and it's a full team. So I think this approach is really cool, especially for the sport. I think as it evolves, and it's good for health and safety. It's good for playing opportunity, everything around that as well. So exciting to see.
Definitely. We're starting to see a few more teams going with the 5-person roster too. That's actually what we're doing on our team as well, on Team Hagestad. So I came in as the 5th player this year. So no one actually left the team. They just picked me up. And same sort of idea. We were thinking, you know, the season is so long now, and there's so much wear and tear on the body, especially at the front end position with all the sweeping. And it's nice to have someone that you can tag in who's actually a full member of the team, that is not just like a spare or somebody that you picked up kind of along the way. So when you're not playing, it's kind of more in a coaching advisory sort of a role, and you're still actively involved.
Yeah, agreed. You know, you look at some of the teams out there, we've definitely seen players playing through injury or teams that end up settling and playing with 3. You know, the challenge is it's real hard just to pull a random player off the bench. You know, you even look at Brad Gushu's win at the Brier in 2017. It was Jeff Walker who was suffering a severe shoulder injury, I believe, and was having real challenges during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tom Sallows was their 5th player, but he was more of a support role. You know, he did a ton of things behind the scenes for the team, helping them feel comfortable, you know, setting up a lot of the details. And without being a regular player on the team, it was hard to trust having him on the ice. Like, Tom is a very good player. There's no reason he couldn't play at that level, play in that game. But they would prefer to play with 3 in a situation like that than bring in somebody that they're just not in sync with. Now, with a 5th player, you can actually play that properly with 4 players, give players breaks when they need it, and so on. So I think our game goes there as we continue to professionalize.
Definitely. And teams have so many of their own processes and shorthand language and I guess team secrets, if you want to call it that it's tough to bring somebody in who's not in on all of that, or maybe someone who plays on another team as well, that you don't want them knowing how you operate. So I think it is the way that a lot of teams are going to start to go to get that competitive advantage.
And I think it's good for the game too.
Mm-hmm.
So Megan Balsden, skip of this team last season. She has moved back down to the 3rd position, with Duncan moving into the lineup. First of 2 skip stones here for Jennifer Jones. Duncan with the hammer here in the third end. Certain there is some good stories out of the time growing up, you and your sister. Fans at home, be sure to ask away any questions you may have. I'm sure Julia will only stick to the one she's allowed to answer.
I don't know if there's too many I'm allowed to answer, but try and keep it as PG as possible.
Yeah, of course, the championship final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. We have put out a few releases. There will be a story coming out soon. The men's event here has been postponed. There was a player whose COVID alert tracing app showed that they had come in contact with a case. They have withdrawn from the event. And as part of that, and in discussion with the remaining teams, we've decided to put this event on delay or postpone the final. Well, there was no requirement to do so. I think just in an utmost of safety, we're just trying to approach this as proactive as possible at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's the smart play. I mean, it's not like anyone has tested positive, but if there's any sort of uncertainty there, I think the organizers and the club are doing everything that they can to protect the players and the coaches and everybody involved. So I think it's a smart move. Unfortunate, but it's the world we live in right now.
Yeah, I think that's the case, right? We're working on trying to, find balance with the virus. There's no such thing as 100% safe in anything we do. And we kind of have to figure out on how to learn to live with this thing. And when a situation comes up like this, we need to approach it aggressively at the same time too. By requiring the players to have the app. This is something that, as far as I know, no other event requires this. Like, I think this is something curling clubs should mandate at the same time too, that if you're coming back to curl this season, that you must have a copy of that app on your phone, because it protects the player themselves. It helps the player realize that there's an awareness of social distancing while they're out in public. And at the same time, like in this situation, if the player did test positive and it was passed to the player, we're able to cut down the potential spread as quick as possible. There have been no confirmed cases at this event so far. And that is the way we want to keep it. And that's the way we have to assume we approach these events, that COVID will pass through these curling clubs. And our goal is to make sure policies are in place, that if somebody comes to the door at the curling club, we do everything possible to try and catch it. The KW Granite Club is doing temperature checks of all the players, all people entering the building. The Curl On was doing a tracing program of their own. So we have 2 layers of tracing, one at the curling club level for who's in the building, and also the COVID alert government app at the same time. And then, of course, inside the building, we're following all health protocols to go above and beyond. Both these events were in their own separate 50-player cohort, again, to minimize spread and interaction among players. A number of things done on the ice, following the vast majority of the guidelines put in place by Curling Canada. With one small change, curling teams are able to put the second sweeper into play. They're not allowed to sweep, not allowed to, they're supposed to maintain distance from the sweeper. As you see here, we're borderline there. But the other thing to consider here is this is like walking side by side, and any risk is behind the athlete sweeping the stone right now. All players are required to wear masks, as we added that after Ontario's announcement on Friday. So we're just trying to do everything to just kind of figure out how we move forward. And now with this alert that has popped up, you know what, we need to put that on pause and make sure that everybody is safe and healthy before we consider our next steps. So as I was going on there, we did have a finish to the third end. Maybe, Julia, you can update us on the score?
Yeah, Hollie made a really nice pressure draw against 3. So now Jones leads it 4-1.
We'll be right back after this short message.
Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells team's brand new listing. And I am so pumped to bring 113th Street to market. This is a super cool house. We are in New Toronto. The lake is right there. The bike path is right there. Do you know what? I've always said in real estate, this area of Lakeshore, New Toronto, is going to be the next beaches of Toronto. You can see the development. And voila, we have this great raised bungalow. The ceilings in the basement are 8 feet tall, and you have a 1-bedroom apartment in the basement for extra income. And you know what? My client has done all the hard work. She's taken out the wall. She's put in the structural support beam. So everything's there to put a second story on, or you know what? Just come to this beautiful country-like setting backyard and just chill. The home has a lot of upgrades. Like I said, it has the beam. It's an open concept. And you know what? The crazy thing about this bungalow is it actually has a front hall closet, which most bungalows don't. So look, go to stusells.ca. You can see all the pictures and videos of this amazing backyard. You can take a tour of the area and call me Stu and come have a showing.
Thanks, Stu, for that wonderful presentation there. Certainly a beautiful house there in the city of Toronto. Special thank you to Stu Sells Realty, Stu Sankey there. He has done an amazing job helping support the sport in the Greater Toronto area. 8 events were planned for this season. A number have been canceled already. But we're working on trying to bring you at least a little bit of curling this season. Try and bring a little normalcy back to the world again.
Stu's always been such a great supporter of curling for many, many years now, and just a great guy and just loves the sport. So it's nice to have his support. I believe, is he doing a GoFundMe? Is that right, for the streaming?
Yeah, we'll roll it up in that next break. Thanks for bringing that up, Julia. But Stu has invested a bunch of money, his sponsorship this season, into streaming equipment to try and create extra exposure for these events. And so as part of that, there's also a cost to the execution of streaming week in and week out. And that is what we're hoping to fund going forward. You know, we've got the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard tentatively scheduled for next weekend. We're obviously going to review the Ontario guidelines announced Friday and how we fit into that. And, you know, at this point, we're certainly unsure. The KW Fall Classic is scheduled to run at the end of October. But these are all events that can do with streaming. And it certainly provides an opportunity for teams to tap into sponsors and everything as well. This setup here so far is temporary. We do have some other equipment on the way, but our production team, Evan Seacombe, we have Stephen on the camera. They're doing an absolutely brilliant job putting the scenes together here with the cameras they have, and I'm looking forward to once we get the full setup. So exciting times here with curling in Ontario.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I've seen nothing but good feedback about what's been happening so far, so definitely looking forward to what's to come. So Team Duncan here, after they took the 1 point in the third end, are looking to set up a bit of a steal situation here. So it's not looking too bad. Got a few centerline guards. Try and get some good ones wrapped around. This one slides a little bit deep. A nice freeze there by Jocelyn. Question here from Nancy Thompson. Where is Team Duncan from? So Hollie's from Toronto. She goes out of the Royal Canadian Curling Club. And I believe the rest of her team is out of Woodstock, Ontario. Not a bad setup here if you're Hollie. She's got a few centerline guards, a few rocks closer to her on the forefoot. So she can sink a nice one in here. Put a little bit of pressure on Team Jones.
Just rubs off that guard just a little too much.
Yeah.
That's 2 shots now for Duncan. That that gets a little further, gets past that guard. It's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it was a good effort, good try there. Pretty close. Looked like the weight was good. see, Kenneth Waldner wants to know if the new player is playing for Jones. She is. That's my sister, Lisa Weagle. And as Jerry mentioned a little bit earlier, if you have any questions about the Weagle sisters, feel free to comment in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can.
Now, after Jones tried to come down that path, Duncan with another chance here. Find on this side of the sheet especially, you get way out there wide and you come up light.
Yeah, it looks like almost trapping a bit out there.
Question is, who is shot stone here? That may have even been a guard in that spot, to be honest. They were cleaning that on the way in.
Yeah, it's hard to tell at this angle. I think it might be Hollie.
That's all they can do at this point. Down 4-1. They just want to chip away. Jones with hammer here in the fourth end.
Getting some good Weagle sister questions here in the chat. Brett Abbots wants to know if I'm the better of the Weagles. You know I can't answer that, Brett. I think which one of us has more championship trophies will probably answer that question. James wants to know, did Lisa move to Manitoba, or how does that work? No, Lisa still lives in Ottawa. She's the import player on the team. And Dawn is still lead as well. Lisa's coming on as the 5th player. So Dawn wasn't going to travel this week, so she stayed at home. And since Lisa's already in Ontario, she's had the opportunity to play all week here, and good opportunity for her to settle into the team and see how they work in a competition situation.
Yeah, with this being the first event of the year and the fact that Lisa is local here in Ontario, it's a great opportunity to actually get their feet wet, depending on how much they might get to play yet this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a good fit so far. It seems like things are coming together. They've had some pretty good games. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Lisa too much about it yet. I don't normally talk to her while she's playing, but after a competition, we'll chat about it. And but I know she was really excited coming into this, and really almost a bit surreal for her, I think, to have this opportunity. So I know she's excited, and she has to be happy with the results that they've seen so far this weekend.
We'll work on trying to get the consolation game up here. A comment from Sharon. we're certainly working through a bunch of things right now. Obviously, the cancellation of the men's event has people busy behind the scenes, taking care of potential details and just making sure everything is set there. We really have little concern as to the spread of the virus. The player involved was healthy, no indication. They've been going through temperature testing all weekend long here. And so it was just their COVID alert app that showed a potential contact. So sort of the early warning system, and something that I think every curling club should actually mandate as part of their return to play policy. You know, it's something that allows members to ensure that they are taking the utmost care as they interact in society outside of the curling club at the same time too. And that's something the COVID alert app will actually create for you.
Great tap attempt there by Hollie, just a little bit too heavy and slides past. Jones still sitting 2.
Someone be there to call it.
Great to see so many fans picking up the coverage of this game. We've got up over 600 people on the Facebook live stream and up over 560 people on YouTube. Amazing. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please share this with your friends. Let everyone know you're watching curling. We have this event going on. We're not sure how much longer we're going to be able to curl with numbers and changes in Ontario with the rules. So we're doing our best here to bring you the coverage we can. I believe you have a question from Joanne Curtis, in the former teammate, in the YouTube live chat.
Oh, I don't have that up. What is Joanne asking me?
She wants to know, how do George and Trooper get along?
So George is my dog. He's almost 10. He's a Lassapoo. And Trooper is Lisa's corgi. We call them dog cousins. But they get along great, actually. I know both of them are a little bit iffy about other dogs, like depending on the dog. But the two of them get along great. So whenever we have family gatherings and stuff, the dogs love to run around and chase each other and steal each other's toys and stuff. And
nice, lots of fun. So
yeah.
Score here in the fourth end. Again, I was not paying attention, dealing with anything else. I hope you've been paying attention, Julia.
Nope, got distracted by dog talk.
So we'll be back with a score update when we get back. I'm sure lots of people in the chat will help us out here. We'll be right back after this quick message from some great supporters of the Stu Sells series.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything.
Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
October is First Responders Month at Firehouse Subs. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation of Canada's largest annual fundraiser. The need to support Ontario's first responders has never been greater. When visiting a Firehouse Subs location, you can round up your order to the nearest dollar, buy one of our famous pickle buckets for only $3, or give a donation to help our local first responders. All funds raised during First Responders Month will help provide life-saving equipment and resources to first responders in our communities. There are now 40 Firehouse Subs locations in Ontario. Visit firehousesubs.ca to find one nearest you. Back here inside the KW Granite Club. Now into the 5th end. Throw a shout out to my nephew Owen, who is watching from his home near Crediton, Ontario. So again, we're just trying to figure out an update on the score from the last end. Just a shout out to Gretchen Hutterly, curling super fan from Portland, Oregon. Just to answer a question. This is our record for people watching on a Curling Zone live stream.
This is also my first time doing commentary, so no pressure at all. There's all these people watching.
And we did get an update. That was 2 for Jones there in the 4th end. Thank you to Carol Jones for the update. You knew she'd be watching closely. So 6-1 here in the women's final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. I have sent out a link to Stu. He should be joining us shortly on the commentary. Let's see if he can figure out this technology.
It's tricky.
He sure knows how to put on a party for the curlers, doesn't he?
That's true.
Of course, everything extremely scaled back this weekend. Safety protocols in place. Teams separated into their own cohorts. Just what we got to do in order to try and get back on the ice here for this season.
Yeah, it's tough. The social side of it is such a big part of our game too, and even at the competitive level. So I know it's been a long time for everyone being off the ice, so it's got to be tough coming back and seeing all your friends again and not being able to give hugs or socialize or anything after a game. So
yeah, it certainly brings a lot of challenges into this. And you know, when you look at a lot of these players on the ice right now, there are teams whose job, whose living depends on the sport. Sponsors go a long way to help support these curling teams and bring them, create the opportunity for them to do things like chasing spots in the Olympic trials and the pre-trials and everything around that, playing for the Scotties. It's really an opportunity for these teams to just get some of that game time that these sponsors generally require as part of these contracts.
definitely. And I know one of the questions that people outside of the curling world ask me a lot is, you know, how do these teams make money? And a lot of it comes from your sponsors and having that incredible support. So, you know, not having TV coverage is a tough thing to sell on a sponsor that, you know, yeah, you can help us out and give us this money, but, you know, we can't give you that much in return. So it's amazing to have this streaming service and to help out a bit that way. Because I think it was Caitlin who said, you know, it feels like we just lost our jobs. This is full time for a lot of these players at the elite level. So it is, it's a bit weird, but it's good to see people back and hopefully, you know, keep all these precautions in place and keep everyone safe and have as much of a season as we can.
So currently there is a B event final going on as well. Kathy Auld playing Emma Wallingford. This is for 5th place in the event. Auld currently leads 2-1 there after 3 ends. So now Team Duncan again, relatively open 4-foot area here. They should have a chance to try and get 2. They're just going to need to find a few more shots.
Yeah, it looks like they've just been missing on the wrong side of the inch on a few of them. Just had that one tap that went a little bit deep in the last end. That kind of let Team Jones off the hook there.
Do have a question here from Kim Tuck as well. She just was wondering about the policies as we arrived at the club, the protocols put in place to protect the players. There was an entrance and an exit at the KW Granite Club, so now dedicated one-way traffic flow was really put into place. Players would come in the side door. They would be temperature tested as they entered the door. Then from there, they would scan the Curl On club tracing app, which basically keeps an inventory of all the curlers that are in the curling club at a given time. So that's, again, another way for curling clubs to manage the traffic flow and people around. We've got, this is something debuted for the first time, so we've been a bit of a test event for Curl On. This is, I think, a good initiative by Steve Chenier and the organization there, because I think it brings the opportunity and simplifies the processes for curling clubs. Everyone's talking about a sign-in book at the front, so this adds some extra level there. From there, players would go directly to the ice, which is the standard move, isn't the way we had it set up. Depending on rain, and I'm not sure how they proceeded today, I believe players did wait outside in the parking lot, went straight to the ice. If there was rain, we did have access to locker rooms with lots of space to set out as well. Upon entering the ice, teams would warm up, home end versus away end, top on the scoreboard at the away end. Players are fully masked as of Saturday morning, following the Government of Ontario's recent announcement. And so, these are sort of all the steps we've taken in order to protect the players. Of course, the COVID Alert app, which is really the star of the show here now this weekend, was required to be downloaded by all players playing in this event. This means that we were able to catch positives before they actually turn into cases for the athletes. Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Like, it's certainly a case where it's hard to move forward with zero risk in anything we do. A number of players have chosen to sit out this season, which is, everybody has their own choice to make within these spots, as to whether it's worth it to be out there playing or not. Even myself, I'm broadcasting from London, Ontario, the Curling Zone studios. We're doing this remotely. Julia is in her home in Ottawa. And the amazement of technology, we can bring this to the internet.
Pretty good steel setup again here for Hollie. A lot of junk out front, one in the 4-foot.
I'd like to welcome Stu Sankey of Stu Sells Realty into the broadcast. Thanks for everything you do, Stu.
Hey, my pleasure, Jerry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We've got Julia Weigel on the call with me here.
Hey,
if you
Julia.
just click on
Hey,
my
Stu, how are you
profile, you'll
Good.
see the curling game.
Yeah, here in Kitchener-Waterloo, I've been helping the streaming boys, so a big shout out to them. For 3 guys that knew nothing about curling when they started, they've learned so much and they're totally into it now. I think we have 3 new curling fans.
That's spectacular. Of course, Evan Seacombe, and we've got our camera guy, Steven. I don't think they're giving last names, I guess. And what was it, Justin on the controller, switching and bringing all the feeds to us?
No, that's Jake. Jake's been doing that.
Jake,
He's been doing an awesome job.
Yeah, it's been spectacular to watch this coverage. Amazing work by the guys behind the scenes there. And I'm excited about the future potential for the Stu Sells series and all this streaming as well.
Yeah, it's going to be, once we get back to normal next year, we're going to have our Stu Sells series. So we're going to have the Grand Slams of Club Curling. So we're going to have 5 key events, the Oakville, the Toronto, Halifax, and we're going to pick up the Port Elgin Super Spiel and the Brantford Nissan Classic. They're all going to come under the Stu Sells series. And if you get the most points at those 5 events, you get a brand new car from Nissan, which is going to be cool.
That's absolutely amazing, Stu.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring you into the scene here. Sorry, I don't have my microphone on in that scene, but yeah, Stu, thanks a lot again. I know the work going into this, you put your sponsorship investment into the event this year. I know it was really difficult to gather sponsorships from a number of the different supporters that have continued to support this event. But I know you've invested a bunch of your own money now into streaming equipment. This stuff here so far is temporary, as we've got some more overhead cameras coming in, some more lines that are going to continue to upgrade this. Now, the cost of actually putting this on is a challenge at the same time, but we're looking for some help from the curling fans to put on more events, aren't we?
Yeah, because I didn't want to charge people to watch the streaming. I wanted to put it out for everyone to be able to watch some great curling. So just asking, fellow curling fans out there, just give us a little bit of support, the GoFundMe, and then we can take care of the boys who are doing all the hard work and putting the streaming on, and we can watch some awesome curling.
Yeah, the funding is going to go to Evan and his team so that they can show up at these events and continue to provide this amazing coverage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a great weekend. The curling's been awesome. There's been some great games, some close games, some really good curling. The club here, KW Granite, has been amazing with the protocols and the cleaning and everyone wearing masks and everyone, following routes in and out, temperature checks, sign-ins at the door. They have been unbelievable in their protocols here. So a big shout out to them, the staff, the ice maker, because they've just done a remarkable job all weekend.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think we're the first organization to use the COVID alert app as part of our protocols. And as such, we get caught with a potential contact and we have to shut down. But I think that's a win in the case of how this tracing all works and being a really early warning system to protect the curlers as well.
I agree 100%. It's sad that we're not going to see a good men's final today, but hey, better safe than sorry, and that's why we have the protocols in place so we can get a jump on it. And I think it's the right call. Did Jennifer just go through?
Not through the rings, back 8 foot.
Okay. And I know it's been a tough year for sponsorship as well, but a big shout out to our sponsors. Goldline has given us a ton of support. Aaron and Andrew, they're awesome. Keith with the Royal Bank and the Royal Bank Mortgage Department have stepped up to the plate. Deborah and Ken, the owners of Remax Hallmark, stepped up with the same sponsorship. So we've got some really, really good key sponsors, and Patrick at Firehouse Subs, another one. So, and Brantford Nissan. So if you need a car, go to Brantford. That's where I drove all the way. I live right next door to a Nissan dealership, and I drove all the way to Brantford to get a car from Chad. And the guys next door said, "Where'd you get your car?" And I said, "Sorry, you guys don't sponsor curling." So I'm buying a car through a curling sponsor.
Yeah, Chad Allen and Brantford Nissan have been great supporters of the sport going back, 20, 30 years almost now. I know when I first graduated out of juniors, I was playing the Brantford Nissan Classic in Brantford, Ontario, typically held every December. Yeah, great to see that opportunity, and really exciting because this series is going to kind of target the Ontario tour teams mostly, because the type of events are more for your regional tour teams.
Yeah, but I think we'll get some good turnout. Like, we have some Quebec teams, some maritime teams come up. So I think we've had in the past some Western teams too. So they're more than welcome to come and win a new car.
So anyways, thanks a lot, Stu. Really appreciate it. We're going to cut away for a commercial break here. We'll be right back
guys,
with a
stay
score
safe out
update
there,
from the
wear your
6th
mask.
end.
Bye, Stu.
Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.
When I sweep with the Gold Line fiber light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life.
More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
You need to sweep for weight.
You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Back here inside the KW Granite Club, this is the women's championship final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. Special thank you for Stu for joining us there, Julia. Such an amazing supporter of the sport.
Stu has been incredible. I know on behalf of all of the players, we love Stu. He's put so much into this sport and just doesn't expect anything back. So if you're willing and able, I know Jerry, you posted the link in the chat for the GoFundMe if you can help Stu out. Because he's really the reason that we're able to do this, along with all the other sponsors that, he works hard at securing those, and as does everybody on the tour. So huge thank you to Stu for everything that he does to keep curling alive and well in Ontario.
So
Big
here
2 points there for Hollie in the 5th end.
Sorry, what was that, Julia?
Hollie scored a 2, I believe, in the 5th.
There we go. 6-3 now is your score, playing the 6th end here. As again, we mentioned, some of these updates are challenging at times, just trying to keep track of everything, how many rocks thrown here. Team Jones with a fairly comfortable lead here in the final. That is a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, not the perfect tick shot that we're used to seeing from Lisa. Still not bad though. That's a yellow stone out there. Would have been nice to move it a little farther away from the center line though.
So those rocks out front right now, helpful for Team Duncan. So Jones trying to clean them up there, but did jam and kind of keep the other shooter around as well. Duncan going to use the center guard, draw around.
Just rubs there. It's not bad. She took the guard over to protect the red stone a little bit better, so Jennifer's going to have to deal with that.
Just off a little bit here and there for Team Duncan today.
Yeah, just the wrong side of the inch a few times.
Yeah, we saw that in the second end where Duncan just rubbed the center guard. The smallest of margins. If she gets by on her last shot, she would have actually scored 3 to tie this game at the time. Instead, a steal of 1 and a 4-point swing, something you certainly can't be giving up to the curling legend Jennifer Jones.
No. Great shot there. Jerry, have you had any feedback from the players about the ice conditions on the weekend?
The ice conditions have been absolutely spectacular. We actually had Tim March in the chat during last night's final draw of the round robin, and he was talking about the ice. It's got 26 second speed, which is faster than normal. So we're really seeing some draws drift deep here. The other part of that is lots of curl, talking about 4.5 to 5 feet of curl on this ice sheet as well. The indication there when the skip is putting the broom in the middle of the 12 foot for a draw to the button, there's your measurement when we talk about amount of curl. So, that allows teams to get around any kind of guard. We're seeing teams bury around stones in the top of the 12 foot. So, absolutely amazing conditions out here provided by a brand new ice maker to this facility this year. His first event last weekend, the Cameron's Brewing Mixed Doubles, came off without a hitch. You had 10 teams playing there. Ice was ready to go Thursday. Teams got a little bit of practice on it Thursday evening, and now we're into the season here at the KW Granite Club. Rob Adams, new to the facility here, and players raving about the ice.
I think they wanted that one in the 8 foot there, eh, Jerry? They just came up a bit short.
Yeah, appears to be. Duncan with 2 stones buried under cover here now. This is the kind of end they were looking for here, to put some pressure on Jones, maybe get a chance to get away with a steal or 2 here.
Definitely in an 8-end game, the 6th end is so important to score. So Hollie will be doing everything she can to walk away with a steal here. Looks like it's hard to tell whose second shot there.
Is that rock just over curling here? Again, the huge amount of curl that we're seeing here. This sheet has been a little bit more curled towards that aisleway you see in the middle, and a bit of a tendency to be a little bit straighter coming off that aisle. So Duncan's got a couple options here. She can throw up a guard just to kind of block that path, or the alternative, and I think what she is really thinking about here, being down 3, you'd love to try and set up a way to steal more than 1. So being more aggressive, you can try and put this into the top of the 4-foot underneath the guard there. The challenge, of course, is trying to go that deep. The mistake is sliding another 3-4 feet too deep, and you kind of give Jones the easy out at the same time.
And make this one curl over a bit, almost to the center line.
This is the sort of shot that has the potential to kind of lock down that steal of 1. Looks like Jones is lying second shot, though we aren't 100% certain here. Now looking at this angle run here, she does have a couple options. She can run it onto her own yellow stone. The other option, if she hits it a little bit thicker, she might come in between those 2 red stones, remove those 2 that way as well.
There are a couple of different options here.
Yeah, exactly. As this rock's coming down, Caitlin's got to make the decision and sweep for the shot she can make with the thrown rock. This pod has tended to run pretty straight. Just needed a little bit more curl. That will be a steal of a single point for Team Duncan. We will head to the 7th end. Duncan's still alive here in the final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. We'll be right back from the KW Granite Club in Kitchener-Waterloo shortly.
Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells team's brand new listing. And I am so pumped to bring 113th Street to market. Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells brand new listing, and we are in Liberty Village. So if you're a young executive and you want to have a great time and be close to your office, then you got to come here to Liberty Village. There's so much going on here. It's got great restaurants, great shops, bars, so much to do. You're close to the lake if you want to go down on the bike path and bike wherever you want. There's parks nearby, and it's a fun little area here in Liberty Village. It's really chic and it's hip, and this unit is spectacular. It is a 1-bedroom, perfect for a single person. It's got a large balcony. It goes the full length of the unit, and you can see the lake, and you can watch out at the whole Liberty Village because you're on the 16th floor. We have pool, gym, party rooms. This is like Club Med down here. So look, go to stusells.ca, look at all the pictures and videos, and then give me Stu a call and I'll come and take you for a tour.
Back here inside the KW Granite Club, joined by guest Julia Weigel. Thanks for coming on board today, Julia. It's been a pleasure having you on for this game and opportunity to share some insights behind your sister and yourself and your curling career coming up together. I know there's a lot of intertwining of all the Ottawa athletes and the history of playing through juniors as well. And your team this year has been sitting out as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations about it. We had a lot of Zoom calls, and we do have a couple of players on our team who are a little bit more high risk. That's Team Hegestead out of the Toronto area and the 5th player coming out of Ottawa. So unfortunately, we made the tough decision not to play this weekend or next weekend in KW. As much as we would love to be on the ice, we kind of together as a team decided we'd take a more of a wait and see approach. So we're hoping to possibly be back again soon. I know we today started discussing, I know Whitby is starting to look at having an event at the end of November. So we've been talking about maybe doing that one, and then hopefully the situation doesn't continue to escalate, and we'll be able to play in our provincial playdowns here in Ontario.
So into action here, more of the same for Team Duncan. Full court press, all the attack they've got here in the 7th end.
Yep, after giving up a couple of big ends early, I think Hollie's taken a more aggressive approach as she's kind of been forced into. And I've played against Hollie many, many times, and she always hangs in there. So I think we've still got a couple of good ends of curling to go. Got a couple of centerline guards set up here. And she'll be looking for another steal here in the 7th.
Games here are 8 ends in length. length of majority of tour events that you see out there in play. Championships, you've got the Scotties, the Brier, Worlds, they're still playing by 10 ends. Certainly a lot of discussion around that right now as the sport looks at TV opportunities and whether we consider going to 8 ends for the game.
Personally, I like 8-end games. I think, especially with the number of events on the tour now and the length of the season, the 10-end games come into play later on in the season, and it's a lot of wear and tear from an athlete perspective. A lot of sessions at the chiropractor and your massage therapist as a front ender. So, not that I'm, wimping out or anything, but I do tend to lean in favor of an 8-end game. And from a broadcast perspective too, I mean, we saw with the mixed doubles of the Olympics how popular that was, and I think just with broadcast times and attention spans and stuff, having a bit of a shorter game tends to fare a little bit more well for the fans.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a consideration. I've heard through the grapevine that TSN specifically as a broadcaster is not as strong supporter for 8 ends as maybe we thought they were.
Oh, really?
The idea that if we do cut away 2 ends of the 10-end game, we are losing 20% of our airtime at the same time too. And for a network like TSN, curling does well.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
now, so as an established broadcaster, this is one of the things where we need to balance versus, trying to get this game onto networks in the United States and in Asia, Europe as well, where a tighter 8-end package might be more appealing. So you have to balance the potential decrease in attention for our sport in one place with the opportunity in the other. So this is no simple decision, and it's certainly not just about 8 versus 10 on the ice. When you look at the analytics behind it, you can look at first end, second end. What's a team's chance of coming back when they give up a 3 or give up a 2? And the one thing is that the difference between an 8-end game and a 10-end game, giving up a 2 or giving up a 3 in the first end, is essentially about 1% difference. When I pull the numbers out from statistics from year to year, there have been years where teams came back in more 8-end games than 10-end games as part of the data set. So what that means is that the difference in your opportunity of coming back in the game is actually within the range of error. So, we've got upwards of 10 to 15,000 games in our records every season between men's and women's play, now adding to that with mixed doubles. So we do have a pretty significant sample size, and going from 10 to 8 is not a competitive consideration because of that. Giving up 3 in the first end of an 8, giving up a 3 in the first end of a 10. If you play well for the rest of the ends, you're going to win the game.
And we're seeing a little bit of that here right now with Hollie crawling her way back after giving up a 3 in the first.
So really Duncan accomplishing a pretty major goal in this end. Has a couple guards out front, some rocks in play. Has Jennifer Jones drawing now up to with in the 7th end. Anytime you can get your team that's ahead of you throwing draw stones, putting rocks in play, that can only help you. Hollie Duncan with first of her 2 skip stones here in the 7th. Trails Jones 6-4, looking for a steal. Duncan, a lawyer in the Toronto area. Just so close from being perfect there.
That was
That
a great
run back
effort
attempt. Yeah, very close.
there.
Still, that rock in a very good spot here. Jones is going to have to put second shot somewhere in a good spot. Keep the pressure on Duncan. Got my nephew making mayhem in the YouTube chat. Maybe making a curling fan there, Julia.
Start him young. That's what I say. Do you have a message from Naomi and Deb from the Royal Canadian Curling Club in Toronto? Their little one, Ella, I guess, is running around the house yelling hard at the TV screen. So shout out to Ella.
Up over 1,270 viewers now combined between YouTube and Facebook. Amazing to see all the fans showing up this weekend. Thanks for all the support, everyone. Sounds like Jennifer Jones going to just try and open up the front with a peel here. Again, for Jones, they just need to score a single point here. So peeling this out of the way, takes a rock out that Duncan can hide behind. So the center guard out of play here. Duncan, her last shot here in the 7th end. Jones has one to come.
Big shot here for Hollie, looking for that freeze.
Needs to bring this down. And so now that peel by Jones is going to make this shot a heck of a lot easier.
Just make it go away.
Last shot here at 7th end. Jones needs to pick this out, score a single in 7. Gets it by the back. We'll count the 1 yellow. And we're heading to the 8th end. Jennifer Jones with a 3-point lead here in the final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life. More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. You need to sweep for weight.
You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs believes that people come back when they are both treated well and fed well. Turns out, people love the same things we do. With the best meats, cheeses, and toppings we can find, we are no ordinary sub shop. At Firehouse Subs, we steam our meats and cheeses, releasing a rush of flavors. Then load up a serving that is way over code and on a toasted roll. It is a winning combination that satisfies ravenous appetites and the value-conscious alike. There are now 40 Firehouse Subs locations across Ontario. Visit firehousesubs.ca to find the one nearest you.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything.
Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Back here inside the KW Granite Club, playing the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard, Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. This event originally scheduled in early September at the Oakville Curling Club. I'd like to throw a special thank you out to Chris Way there from the club. Chris involved in organizing around that event, as well as the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard originally scheduled for High Park Club. Both those clubs have made decisions to postpone or delay their season. I know for Oakville, the last I'd heard, it was only up till after Thanksgiving. But that meant we had to find a new home, and we were lucky enough to find a spot here in Kitchener-Waterloo. Duncan with the corner guard up. Jones continues to be aggressive here. Center guard in play, up 3 coming home. I do not believe that was a mistake, Julia.
No, I think that was called. I think Jones, with this 5-rock rule, is just going to keep the gas pedal down and try and put a lot of pressure on Hollie to try and score her 3.
Yeah, I really think the 5-rock rule is sort of that perfect rule for curling right now. It really doesn't change the game that much because it still flows within a normal curling set of rules. You just have to leave that one guard up further. But what it does do is it changes behavior on the ice by the teams. You can't just go into defense mode unless you're making every double you can out there, which there are a few teams who kind of ratchet it up to that level when they're on. But in the 5-rock rule, if you can throw two corner guards for free and they cannot be removed, it really opens the door for the team with the hammer to score a multiple point here. And with one small mistake, Duncan can take an easy 3 if they make all their shots. So Jones is proceeding accordingly.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of aggressive style play here in this 8th end, so still lots of exciting curling left. Just short on that one.
So again, now the decision between using a bit of caution out here, trying to remove some of these stones. The rest of the house is in a position Jones is comfortable with here, so she's going to ask. It's hard to tell Jocelyn and Caitlin apart from this angle.
As
the ponytail and the mask. A lot of twinning going on out there. I believe that was Jocelyn's last throw here. Megan Ballston here, her first stone of the 8th end. Freezes right down to the back.
Okay. I'm sure Jennifer would love to be peeling again here, but...
Yeah, unfortunately, the peel sets up a second freeze on top of the red one, and I think Jennifer has to get there first.
Exactly.
Like, you could peel this yellow stone in front of the red, but yeah, if Duncan then freezes another perfect stone on there, a big weight hit would probably leave those red stones both in the circles.
Getting into thirds rocks here too later on in the end. You need to start being careful about your rock placement.
Yeah, this is where the 5-rock rule really shines. You still make sure both teams still have to play the game instead of somebody going away and just trying to peel out stones. Trying to bring this down. So it does come up a little bit short there, leaving the door open here for Duncan to try and put another one in underneath. That was the type of shot. You kind of need it to be a little bit heavy there.
Yeah, it just leaves the door open a little bit for Megan to throw a nice draw free shot here.
A nice freeze around that yellow top 8 stone will set up a 3 here for Duncan. You got to get by. Just clips off the top. Again, the story of the game here for Team Duncan.
Yeah, just a few rocks that just didn't quite get by has made the difference in this game. Where you wish you had a second sweeper.
Maybe a little bit of that as well. The other challenge here, obviously, is that one sweeper doing the entire distance of the sheet, you know, that last 10 to 20 feet can be tiring as well. It'd be, you know, you'd love to be able to swap in that second sweeper under normal conditions.
Yeah, that's a big challenge too. The fitness really comes into play here.
Jones with the hit and roll here. Just a little bit too far to put the game on ice.
Yeah, leaves that same shot there for Hollie, maybe a little bit easier this time.
So sorry, looks like we were a rock early here. Ballston with her second stone now. This one looking a lot better. Ooh, did it get far enough?
Hard to tell. It looks like they might be third shot there at the top.
This has to be shot to give Duncan a realistic chance at 3 here.
I think Duncan's sitting first and third, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we don't have the overhead here, so we're just going to have to rely on the call from Team Jones. The type of play will probably indicate the shot that they're going to call here. I think the discussion around this and this angle here, I think, shows that Redstone seems to be a little further in. So based on that, I'm going to assume that Duncan did get second shot. Jennifer Jones, her first stone here at the 8th end. She has 2 to come. Duncan herself with 2 as well. With the hammer here in the 8th. Jones with the run back attempt. Wants to try and get one of these 2 red stones moving here. Does open up the front for her next shot. Where do you go, Julia?
I don't know. Hollie's got to be careful here. If she's second shot, that changes things a bit.
Like, do you draw, try and catch back of the forfeit on the open side there, in the open? Maybe try and get a little bit of it underneath that corner guard. I don't know if you can bury any of it. You're going to be able to see it all, but if you can get close to it in the line of sight, you might create a challenge there.
They're looking at the tap here, so that makes me think that the one at the top of the 4-foot is third shot. So they just have to.
The problem I see is where do you put second shot though? Like I think that tap works well for even if you are shot.
Yeah. Gotta be careful where your shooter goes too.
Yeah, don't want to
This
set
is a tricky
up any
shot no matter what
here.
the call.
I love it. This is what the 5 rock's supposed to do. Make these ends exciting right down to the end. No lead is safe.
It looks like they've opted to tap that red one at the top of the 4 back onto the yellow that's sitting on the back of the tee line.
You know, in this spot, if Hollie was just to tap it even on the nose or maybe roll an inch to the middle, it's still going to be a real tough decision for Jones here. Because if this taps straight back, it essentially locks right into that pocket.
Mm-hmm. Just can't leave Jones a double here at the end of the shot. Looks like it might be a tad heavy.
A little out there too.
A little bit wide.
Thin touch. Hold on the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hair too far. Red now counting 2. I think we're fairly certain of that now. But that red in the top of the 4-foot jams on the yellow that appears to be out counting the red in the back corner open side there.
Yeah, I know that's not exactly what Hollie was calling, but it's not the worst result.
I think this sets up a very tough shot here for Jones.
Yeah.
She may have to play a bit of a safety shot to just make sure she's not giving up 4 here. Like, I think the call is some sort of a hit or potentially a draw, but if things don't go exactly the way she needs it to, she could give up 4 here.
Yeah, that draw is really scary.
Yeah, you come short, Duncan will come down, play that same tap again, move that yellow back, roller shooter in for 4 and the win.
That was my first thought, was that double run back there. Just make sure you get rid of at least one of them.
Yeah, call it on the nose. We see the angle here. I think with this look, it likely is just going to jam on the side and leave Duncan the draw for her 3 in the extra end.
I'd rather play an extra end than give up the game, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Jones is going to play this shot. Going to throw some weight at it. Hope that that red stone, top of the 4-foot, will bounce off that other red stone and go out of play. So 2 stones to come here in the 8th end. Team Jones, this is their last. Hollie Duncan with 1 more to come. Jones with some heat. Jocelyn Peterman on the sweep. The result, and it stuffs it. Hollie Duncan will have a draw to the forefoot for 3 and an extra end here in the championship final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard. Intrigue. Here we go. I think this is the game we were expecting from the beginning. Duncan a hit for 3 in the third end, just rubs a guard, giving Jones the steal and that early 4-0 deficit. But now an opportunity here for Duncan to tie up this game and force an extra end.
Definitely. Hollie's been right in this game right from the beginning. Just a couple of missed shots here and there, but now here's an opportunity for her to tie it up and come back in the ninth. Great final here from these two teams.
I think this is a testament to the style of play that Hollie plays. Even when they get down, they don't try and overplay ends. They just chip away. They use the corner guards. They get their deuces. They've generated some steals and been aggressive without the hammer. And now an opportunity to go to an extra end.
Just guiding this one in here looks pretty good.
There it is.
Great weight control there by Hollie. We're going to an extra.
We'll be right back after these short messages.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Sean Chang.
My name is Chris.
Hi, I'm Phil Hanna.
And I'm an RBC mortgage specialist.
I can meet you where you work, where you live, or halfway across town. Unia Mortgage Specialist.
You can find us anywhere, from here
To here.
and even way over here.
But what is a mortgage
specialist?
And what does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
Well, to start, we understand our communities.
Whether you live in Little Portugal
Or run and operate a store in Bloor West Village.
We want to understand you. We take the time to get to know each and every one of our clients.
Because we all have unique circumstances.
And we would love to get to know yours.
So, let's meet at your closest branch.
Or maybe over a cup of coffee.
So we can understand what matters to you.
We're here to support you.
And we never,
Ever.
leave our clients behind.
Whether you're buying your first home
Or your fifth. Or even when you're looking to build your dream home.
We bring our deep understanding of the real estate landscape and our communities.
Together, under the one team of RBC.
para melhor atender você.
Because our goal is to help you achieve yours.
Our goal is to help you achieve yours.
And we'll work tirelessly to make your dream home a reality.
To make your dream home a reality.
Your goals and dreams deserve an expert. Come and see an RBC mortgage specialist today, where we won't leave a client behind.
Back here for the extra end. Jones with the tick shot attempt. All squared up here in the extra end, ninth and extra end here. The women's final of the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard.
This is what you want in a final. Go to extras, as much curling as possible. It's been a great game by both teams.
Tess Bobby with lead stones for Team Duncan. Looking to throw up the center guards here, hoping for a miss on the tick. We didn't quite see the last shot here, just a little bit of a technical issue. But we're back into it again. And there's the result of the tick from Lisa Weigel. That rock off the center line now. Good spot for that stone, even though it's still in play in the middle. Jones is actually just going to go up and have Lisa peel her own rock out. So, just every time you throw a rock, you want to get something out of it. Well, that may not have been a perfect Weigel. It's still pretty darn good.
Oh, she wasn't perfect on her first. I think that was pretty good for her second one there.
Yep, that'll do. You get rid of one of those two guards. Every little bit you chip away here makes that last shot for Jennifer Jones a little bit easier. Unfortunately, where that guard comes to rest, the double peel is going to be quite possible. Jones asking Jocelyn Peterman to make these two stones go away. Does jam it. Kicks one of the two reds over a fair bit. Still a good half shot here. That remaining Jones stone is quite high, so Duncan is going to ask second Rachel Strybosch throw another center guard around that higher center guard. They really want to get this fully buried around this guard, even though it is off center. This is the rock that they're going to need to draw around later in the end.
Bit of a change in plan here as this one comes a little bit deep. Try and make it good.
You know, certainly a bit of a miss there, but the right spot to put this. We are, after all, in early season curling. Both these teams, this is the first event on the ice. So you expect to see a little bit of rust out there.
Yeah, normally by now this is the third or fourth event on the tour. But as we're seeing, this is number one. I don't know how much opportunity these teams have had to practice and be on the ice yet either. So
yeah, I think that's the other addition. Not only are there no events, there's very few clubs that are open right now with ice available for these athletes.
And with the season coming to an end early last year, it's been quite a while since they've had their curling legs under them. So Jennifer's just going to go up and peel that guard.
Yeah, just a couple little mistakes there out of Team Duncan. That's the sort of thing with Lisa's first tick, moving that one rock, one of the two center guards off. That meant Duncan had to be perfect for the remainder of the end, and this is the spot that it really hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
Now Hollie's going to have to continue to throw some center guards, waste some time here in the middle, and then she'll be able to try and use those two stones in the rings. I think the best chance for her would be play a hit on that back stone and make Jennifer face two on her last. Now over 1,500 viewers combined, Julia.
Wow. That's incredible.
Nearly doubling my Curling Zone streaming record. I think the fans are hungry to watch a little bit of curling, aren't they?
I guess so, yeah. It's been a long drought.
Up goes the guard for Team Duncan. It's been a pleasure, Julia, having you on the stream this afternoon, covering this Women's Championship final. Been an excellent game.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A little bit more of a heads up next time, though.
Short notice. We'll take the nerves out of it. The chance to get, get a bit of anxiety for your rookie appearance here. It's been wonderful. So again, looking for the peel. For Jones, just keep it simple. Keep that middle open. Don't get themselves into too much trouble. They are sitting shot right now as well, so Duncan is going to have to make a play on that yellow stone in the rings. Just got a question for who's got the distance record for watching? Who's doing the most social distancing watching this? So we have had people from around the world. Brazil is a popular place. We had somebody watching from Nigeria earlier. Of course, Japan, Korea tuning in. I would guess that if we've got somebody watching from New Zealand, that would probably set the record for us. So first of the skip stones here for Hollie Duncan. Again, this just sort of plays itself out here. Going in just leaves Jones the opportunity to make a double and end the game early. You want to put the pressure on her for the last rock. And Duncan here guarding her stone up top there. And now Jones is going to make the move first. Are you surprised she's not throwing the peel, Julia?
I'm not. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game right now. It's the theory is get one in there before Hollie does. So if Jones makes a really nice come around draw here, it's really going to put the pressure on Hollie, cut down her chances of scoring.
And I think the situation here is if she makes it, and she doesn't even have to be perfect. A reasonably good shot here will put a lot of pressure on the Duncan side. Whereas if Duncan is to make a nice hit in the back, or they do have the option to draw themselves and try and hold on to more of that forefoot underneath that top 8 stone. And then, of course, Jones would have to hit a piece of the button for the win. First of 2 here for Jones in the extra end.
Draper's picking it up right away.
It is a bit of a disaster here if you're light. Really got to make sure you carry this deep enough. Sorry, Julia. And that's the risk of trying to go in first.
Yeah, that's not what they were looking for at all.
Now again, Jennifer did get a chance to throw her draw weight as well.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good practice, so now she knows. Can make the adjustment on her second one if she has to. Now, Hollie's got two options here. She can either hit that yellow one in the back to sit 2, or she can throw a draw, use those 3 as a guard situation and try and outscore the yellow one in the back.
Yeah, the draw is the harder shot.
Definitely.
But gives yourself a better chance to steal because you're going to force Jennifer to have to hit the button. And after seeing that last shot, I think you want her throwing a draw again. Of course, if you don't make the shot, you leave it open or you come up short, Jones is going to win this game without throwing a rock, which is where then you want to maybe consider hitting that back stone, trying to hit it on the nose, maybe roll over a half a stone or so just to force Jones into a draw against 2. That forces her to have to throw a shot. Certainly not an easy shot to hit and stick here, but easier than having to hit the button. So this is the consideration between the 2 different shots here for Duncan.
A lot of it has to do with how comfortable Hollie is with her draw weight right now, and it looks like that's what she's calling. Big shot here.
Jones with hammer here in the extra end. This is the last stone for Team Duncan. Hollie needs this rock to be shot to force Jones to make her last.
Weight looks pretty good here. Now going to get it buried and be shot. Oh, just short.
Not enough. So that will be it. Jennifer Jones will score a single point here in the extra end. Jones will win 8-7, taking down the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard Women's Championship Final. What a game. So much fun to have curling back on the ice.
Great game by both teams.
So that is it here for the end. The men's final has been canceled. Be sure to check out coverage from Devin Haru at CBC. He's got all the details. We had a player who had their COVID alert app indicate that they may have come in contact with a COVID case, meaning that we have canceled the rest of the men's event just out of an abundance of caution. No concern for any of the curlers here. There has been no positive test around. We are just approaching this with protection of the players and safety involved. So, again, I'd like to thank everybody involved in this event. Matt Wilkinson, the KW Granite Club, putting all the protocols in place, keeping the player safety involved. The ice crew, Rob and his team at the KW Granite Club, amazing work. We've got Evan Seacombe, Steven, and Jake on the production crew there at the club, separated in their own little locked closet there along the side, taking care and giving us these great pictures. We really appreciate all the fans for tuning in, and we're going to be working on trying to bring you more coverage from here in Ontario, but of course out Western Canada. We've got Atlantic Canada also working on putting streaming together. So there will be some curling. We just don't know what it'll look like yet. But again, thanks a lot for everyone tuning in. Thanks, Julia, for being here today. We'll be back again hopefully next weekend with the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard, but we'll certainly follow local health guidelines to ensure whether it will be possible. Until then, everyone, take care.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life. More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. You need to sweep for weight.
You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells brand new listing, and we are in Liberty Village. So if you're a young executive and you want to have a great time and be close to your office, then you got to come here to Liberty Village. There's so much going on here. It's got great restaurants, great shops, bars, so much to do. You're close to the lake if you want to go down on the bike path and bike wherever you want. There's parks nearby, and it's a fun little area here in Liberty Village. It's really chic and it's hip, and this unit is spectacular. It is a 1-bedroom, perfect for a single person. It's got a large balcony. It goes the full length of the unit, and you can see the lake, and you can watch out at the whole Liberty Village because you're on the 16th floor. We have pool, gym, party rooms. This is like Club Med down here. So look, go to stusells.ca, look at all the pictures and videos, and then give me Stu a call and I'll come and take you for a tour.
October is First Responders Month at Firehouse Subs. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation of Canada, Canada's largest annual fundraiser. The need to support Ontario's first responders has never been greater. When visiting a Firehouse Subs location, you can round up your order to the next dollar, buy one of our famous pickle buckets for only $3, or give a donation to help our local first responders. All funds raised during First Responders Month will help provide life-saving equipment and resources to first responders in our communities. There are now 40 Firehouse Subs locations in Ontario. Visit firehousesubs.ca to find one nearest you.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything.
Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.